Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Rhaenyra the Black Queen. So today I want to figure out the pattern. So I'm actually going to do my pattern differently than I normally would, and this is going to be a good kind of example of how you can alter store-bought patterns, because I always get a lot of people who are like, oh, can you upload the pattern? And I don't know how to do that. I'm sure I could figure it out, but this is going to be like a good kind of way to show you how to alter an existing pattern. So I'm using my regular Princess Seam slopers. So I have some footage from earlier when I was actually doing this on the floor because Lexi was using my table, but I'm using my Princess Seam slopers and I am just tracing them onto a bit of muslin, and then from there I'm adding a 1/2 inch seam allowance all the way around, except for the neckline. The neckline I'm adding a 1/4. I'm marking all of my notches, I'm cutting them out, then I'm ironing them flat. So like here is the side back panel piece, basically making a mock-up out of muslin, and then from there I'm gonna go in and I'm going to do any like adjusting that I need to, but I'm also going to draw new seam lines for the princess seams, just because I think they need to be slightly altered. Like the back princess seam on this sloper, it's so exaggeratedly curved. Like I'm not the biggest fan of it. So I'm definitely gonna alter that one. And then I also just need to make sure that I like the way that the waist shapes, because it has like a slight point to it, but it's like a little bit further down from the waist, which actually, now that I say that, I definitely haven't added enough material to the waist of this. So we're gonna do some guessing, at least on the front, just because I just remembered that. I have all my pieces cut out, so I'm just gonna pin them together and sew my seam allowance and then put them on the dress form so that we can draw some lines. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so I got everything cut out, I believe. So the ones that I did change the seam, I went ahead and I top stitched down the seam allowances. This seam doesn't have any seam allowance. The front hem doesn't have any seam allowance, or the front waist. I think I'm just gonna copy this same shape to the back, because when I was looking at my reference images, I realized that the back also went down into a point. So I'm just gonna kind of copy this exact same shape. And then the neck doesn't have any seam allowance. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my slopers and I'm going to put them on paper and trace them, and then put these sample pieces that are like edited, I'm gonna put those over top of that pattern and trace the new lines on to our pattern with my tracing wheel. If you've watched my Harley Quinn videos. You've seen the tracing wheel before. That'll be like my semi-finished pattern pieces. And I'll probably put them on like a black lining material and sew that up and put it on the dress form and see how that works. And then I think I want to make like a 10-inch long skirt sample. So yeah, maybe I'll actually end up doing just another, well, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. I might just end up doing another muslin sample for the bodice and for the skirt, because I need to figure out the skirt, and I hate doing skirts. So yeah, it'll be like a whole thing. There's also like a pleat in the front of the skirt that I have to figure out how to do on this angle. I can't tell if my voice sounds weird because I have on headphones on. Nope. My voice is like a little rough this morning. It's early, so I'm still drinking my coffee. But yeah, I'm gonna get these transferred to paper now so that we can move on. I have got the skirt all sewn. I just, I put it on. But I realized, where's my pattern? I realized after I drafted this front piece that I forgot there's a pleat in the center front. So I had to add some paper, and then I just folded it along the center front, and then it's like a half-inch deep. I was gonna do an inch, but then it was like too much. And then I just kind of like folded it. Where is it? And I kind of put it on an angle. That's how I did that. And then when I was showing up the sample, I was pressing the pleat down, and then I realized I was like, hers just isn't pressed. And also, like, I didn't get quite the right angle, but it's good enough. So now I'm going to put this on the dress form, and we have to get in the proper waist connection lines. All the good stuff. this is all, it's all pinned together. So I'm going to gently take it off of the dress form, take it over the table, and figure out all of my lines and everything. The Targaryen hair really isn't working with this lighting, but I cannot be asked to go get my little light that I have been using. So first sample is done, or I guess this is technically the second, but this is all, yeah, this is all lovely. I love the way that the skirt is hanging, except for the side seams on the skirt are curved until about like here, if I had to guess. And it's just like a little awkward, so I just need to straighten out those seams. Yeah, but other than that, everything looks good. I think this front pleat looks fantastic. And like hers is super like hidden. Like I randomly noticed it once, but I think in the heavy fabric, it's all gonna just like hang, you know, it's gonna do its own, its velvet thing. It's gonna do its velvet thing. So yeah, here, we can do some close-ups now. Sorry, the lighting is gonna be super awkward. Yeah, it's all looking great. I just need to draft the sleeves and the collar now. When I tell you though that I do not wanna draft the collar, like, this is how I know everything that I know about pattern making pretty much, is this textbook. In my brain, it's like all fairly simple stuff, and it teaches you how to draft patterns from measurements and stuff. So you can make the slopers that I have with this textbook. I've done it once and it's a pain, but you can do it. So, okay, collars. What kind of collar do I want? It's like a roll collar that's just really standing up. I think I just drafted like a collar. Like they're pretty much the same thing, but, oh, here you can see. Ta-da! Okay, I've got the collar sewn on, and then I actually did pin it like kind of how I wanted it. I think, because I actually just cut it pretty much like straight out, and I think this is probably close to what I had. I think what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of extra material back at the center back and do that as like a V shape with like extra material at the top so that it lays a little bit flatter, but otherwise I think it's looking really good. I also, depending on how that looks, I might add a little bit more material here from like the shoulder out, I think. I think I'm happy with this collar now. I did in fact add quite a bit of material. So I added 1/2 inch to the back neck, and I added 1/2 inch to the shoulder, and then I brought it in like the diagonal, and then I added a little bit more there, but I think I like it. I think I do. I'm pretty sure I do. I'll have to put like the actual red one on the actual material and see though the vibes, you know? The good news is I had a lot of extra red velvet. I'm not looking forward to the sleeves, but I have taken my basic sleeve that I know fits my arm, and this is gonna be like the lining piece because I do have to line it. I have to like almost double line it. There's gonna be a facing. It's gonna be a whole thing. But what I basically am going to do is just make a little extension piece for the sleeve that's gonna go like for the little peaked part. So I'm basically just gonna, you get it. This will just like tape on when I'm ready to cut the actual sleeve out of the actual fabric. Okay, so something that I forgot, because I used an existing sleeve pattern that I know is like molded to my arm, I forgot that I did is the last like so much of the sleeve, like there's a notch where it goes in, is actually held together by an invisible zipper. Otherwise I can't get my hand through it. Like I was trying to put this sleeve on and I was like, what the heck, it doesn't fit my arm. Like, I'm gonna have to redraft it. And then I was like, no, I put an invisible zipper in the end of the sleeve. Neither of these sleeves is like the right length. This one is probably closer to the right length, but it was just a little short. And then I obviously pinned the seam allowance back on this side, but not on this side. This is looking really good, like really good. So I did fix the skirt pattern, which we talked about. So I've just straightened that out and I matched it with this angle of the seam. So this was the original seam line, and I've just taken it from this point down because it'll still fit. It won't make a difference. Like it'll still fit and flow really nicely, especially with the pleat in the front. Yada, yada, yada. I did also alter the collar pattern a little bit where I added more material. I just slashed and spread through the entire back of the collar. So basically from here to probably about here, there'll just be a little bit more material just because I don't quite like the way that it's like rolling and sitting. So just like a little bit more material to let it like, you know. But other than that, I've already done that, but so this is my final sample now. I really like it. I'm very excited. And I guess that means, well, first of all have to finish smocking so that I can start cutting this out of the real material. I'm not that scared that that I'm gonna have enough velvet. I got like 6 yards, but we'll see. I was thinking about getting rid of this seam here. I think I'm gonna keep it just for ease of like cutting out the pattern. I do just need to go in on the skirt pattern and mark this. And from the side seam, it is 4 7/8 inches in. And then I'll just mark that. Cool. I'm just gonna do that on the front and the back. And then it's done. So, ta-da! Okay, time to get back into the air conditioning and the lovely smocking. I'm on season 5 of Game of Thrones, but I'm only on the 4th piece of smocking, so I've fallen behind. But we're going. I'm really hoping that I have enough material for the sleeve piece, as it is quite long. I'm a little scared about that, but it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll all work out. It'll be great. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Don't even worry about it.